Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel for a nice little flashback review on one of the older Hot Toys figures in my collection. This is the 1/6 scale Michael Keaton Batman from 1992's Batman Returns. Hot Toys delivered a really cool piece here, but this stock cape, the one that he's got on him right now, is awful. It's one of the worst capes I've seen with a Batman figure. Sometimes Hot Toys do a good job with the capes. The Armored Batman from BVS had a really good cape. A lot of the Superman figures have good capes, and Thor from Marvel and stuff, but Batman, pretty hit and miss, mostly miss to be honest. But luckily I have a custom cape here from Jackson XU, and I'm going to be putting that on the figure. I'm sorry folks, I don't want to review it with the stock cape because it's a real pain in the butt to work with. It's not very pleasant to look at, and I'm so glad that I managed to get a custom cape for this figure because it elevates it so much, which you will see right now. So as you can see, instantly better. Look at the improvement that cape makes. It's all the little details that come together. The cape's a pretty big detail, but with a real natural kind of flow and weight to the cape all the way around. Side profile looks on point, looks great from the back. I've literally just chucked this cape on here. I haven't done any futzing. It's just straight on, and instantly we have an excellent looking Michael Keaton Batman in 1/6 scale. So it is a bit of a pain in the butt that you have to consider spending extra money to get a better cape to really bring your figure to the highest potential it can look, you know. But it makes a hell of a difference. Unfortunately, in most of these cases, it seems to be a bit of an afterthought with the capes with Hot Toys. But, you know, we do have folks like Jackson XU and Unreal Toys out there making some great custom capes. Now this guy comes with some pretty good accessories, but you'd be forgiven for thinking this is a DX Hot Toys figure because he does come with this kind of DX style base, basically the same kind of base that came with the '89 DX Batman, but obviously more of a Batman Returns motif with the artwork, but very much the same design with the lights here, the nameplate, which is cold to the touch, so I think that's like a little metal nameplate there. You get this tool for moving his eyes, another DX style feature. This Batman figure can, you know, have the eyes in any position you wish, really, which is an absolute touch, as we say on the streets. But we have two extra mouth plates, his grapple gun, a line launcher. I've never known what these are. I remember the scene where Batman uses this, and you can even see his targets marked on there. That's when he was surrounded. I think the little chihuahua, whatever it was, jumped up and grabbed this. Probably not the right kind of dog. But you've got extra hands, obviously, quite a few good hands there, and other little accessories. I think he was using this in the first film to call the Batmobile. I do have, actually that does look pretty much identical to the '89 one. I do have the '89 Batman here as well. I did a flashback review on him not so long ago, so if you want to watch the '89 DX Batman Hot Toys review, or re-review, that is, that's on the channel. I guess that was about maybe a month ago. But yeah, some pretty cool accessories. Let's start taking a closer look at the piece itself. Oh, and a nice box. Very nice box art. I do like that. One little annoying thing about this figure, it's always been the case unfortunately, is how easily the hands will drop off. And just, yeah, they're just not in there very tight. I've tried pushing the gauntlet further up the arm, but even when I do that, it just doesn't seem to click in. It just won't go in very far. Yeah, so that's always a little bit frustrating. Maybe there's a way around it. I guess you could put a tiny bit of something in there with it to kind of wedge it in better. But it's just every time I'm repositioning the cape or something, I'll hear that hand drop out and I have to put it back in again. Obviously that can be frustrating when you're trying to do photography and stuff and you have to keep messing about with your hand, but it's a minor thing, easily solutionized. Is that a word? Right, so we have a ratcheted elbow here, so you can hear it as it moves, which is good because he will be able to hold his arm in that position now. I'm not too sure how good that is for this kind of rubber material, but you solve one problem, you sort of cause another. The issue I had with the hand not plugging in properly, I mean, I'm pushing and it just falls out. Obviously when the arm is bent like this, that's only going to push this gauntlet forward slightly, a little bit more. So you really got to try and see. I'm pushing that gauntlet back, and that is as far as that will go, and I can feel that that's gone in a little bit better now, but no, it hasn't. That's just ready to drop off. So yeah, it's a figure with problems, but despite its problems, it's still one hell of a piece, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's not perfect. It's definitely not a perfect figure. There's issues, but as a display piece and as a representation of Michael Keaton's Batman, it's absolutely stunning. There was a brief spell a couple of years back here, and it was snowing in the garden. I'll try and grab some of that footage and insert it now for you to see. I hope I can find that for you. But it was a windy day and it was snowing heavy, and I had this custom cape on the figure, and I put him outside in the garden, just standing there on a table, and the wind was blowing the cape and the snow was falling. It was incredible to look at, especially in slow motion. When you slow down the footage and you can see the cape just kind of flapping in the wind. But the point is, this is just in the right lighting. I mean, even now he's just in a brightly lit room and you can see it looks absolutely incredible. But when you start messing around with the lighting and trying to get that more kind of dark cinematic kind of look, it's just incredible to look at. You know, I mean, like I've said, it's a bit of a pain. In order to achieve this, you got to get a custom cape to enhance the piece. And the issue of his hands falling off constantly is a very annoying one, but it is solvable. And once you get past that, you know, you've got one hell of a good looking piece. Now, there was a version of this figure that came with the Michael Keaton head sculpt. I think it was like a double pack where you got the Michael Keaton in a suit from when he goes to that Christmas party and meets up with Selena. And there was also kind of like a ripped cowl version with Bruce Wayne's head. I'm not sure exactly the details of it. It was very tempting at the time when this was released, but I did decide just to go for this single figure by itself. I didn't have the space to display, you know, Michael Keaton at the time. It was nice that they gave you that option. Alright, so let me just remove this back section of the head here, and this is certainly a smoother transition than the one on the 89 DX Batman. The one that came before this was a little bit harder to get flush. This is actually so flush I'm having trouble getting it off. There we go. Alright, so, and then we have two independent moving eyes. That's good, rather than the old style where it was like two eyes but connected with this middle bit that you would move, and if that ever broke, and it often did, you'd be in trouble. So, I mean, because you've just got the two sticks kind of sticking out, if you lose your tool to move the eyes, you can pretty much still maybe get away with using your finger. I'm just going to try moving his eyes to the side of it here, just using my finger here. That seems to be working out, although probably best to use the tool. But now he's looking to the side. That looks good. So let me just get this. I can't see what I'm doing. I'm going to get him looking up. Let's see if I can get that happening. Get him looking up. I want him looking nice and moody. There we go. Let me put, is he looking up a bit too much? I think he's, no, actually that looks pretty good. See, that's the great thing about moving eyes. Again, makes me think of poor old Batman Begins by Hot Toys. He's never had moving eyes in any scale by them. They've never given it to him. And he's the one Batman that would really benefit from moving eyes. Quite similar, you know, kind of, not obviously different, but, you know, a thick neck, quite a thick animalistic kind of look to the Keaton Batmans, and certainly an animalistic primal kind of panther-esque beastly look to the Batman Begins suit. So moving eyes just helps elevate that aggression. See, look at that. He looks like he's coming for you. Well, you wouldn't want him to. Not looking that mean. That's the great fun part about moving eyes on these figures. Alright, so as far as the mouth plates goes, this is the one I've been using most of the time. It's a pretty neutral expression. Seems to capture Keaton perfectly. So now I will start switching them out. I can't remember whether you need to take the head off and kind of push it out from the inside, or whether you just kind of wedge it out from the corner. I hate it when you have to do that because you're always worried that you're going to damage the mouth plate. So I'm going to have to... Nope, there is definitely no way to do that from the inside, from what I can see. You can see the strap on my custom cape there has come unglued, but it doesn't matter. Oh, there goes the hand again. That's what I was talking about. Now he's lost his hand yet again. I'm gonna just, you know what, I remember now, because I usually display this guy with the cape wrapped around him like this. I just took the hands off because I was sick of dealing with that. So now let me try and remove this mouth plate. I guess I'm gonna have to just do it the horrible way of trying to push it out from one side. I don't want to use my nail. I suppose you could grab him under his chin a bit. Oh, it does not feel good to do that. It feels like I'm damaging the mouth plate. How the hell do you get this off? Alright, this is a nightmare. I got it, but it's really not been easy to get this out. Okay, so I've got that out now. Let's try. We've got this one where he's talking. Put that in. See, it really wedges in quite deep. I'm probably never going to be able to get this out again. I'm probably stuck with this mouth plate now forever. It's a nice mouth plate, but I do prefer that is a very good mouth plate, isn't it? That looks very cool. I'm probably stuck with that now. That really wedged itself in there. I'm never getting that out again. But there it is. You want to see it on the actual figure? Alright, so there he is with this mouth plate. That looks pretty cool. Not the one I would have permanently for him just standing there looking cool, but it is a very good looking mouth plate. They all are, really. So now let me just show you this other one, which is very similar actually. I think I remember mentioning that in the review now that I think about it, because they gave you two mouth plates that are basically identical. Yeah, they basically look the same. Maybe a little bit more tooth showing on this one, but very, very similar expressions. I'm not sure why they did that. They could have given you a bit more of a battle damage look like they did with the 89 Batman, where he had blood at the corner of the mouth dripping down. So yeah, that's remembering now. It's a bit of a strange choice. So you get one really cool, just kind of neutral Michael Keaton, and then you get two very similar kind of talking mouth plates. It would have been nice to have the third one be something a bit different. Alright, now that is the third and final mouth plate. So again, just looks like he's talking. I don't think I've pushed that in all the way. I kind of don't want to push it in all the way because it's only going to make it harder to get it out again, but that's how it looks. So, be pretty cool for fighting poses if you wanted to, you know, get him looking like he's in the middle of a scrap for Gotham. A scrap for Gotham's soul. Yeah. I mean, I've had him a while. I've had him since he was released. He's still able to get his arms up and keep him in position, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm going to change it back to just the regular straight kind of expression now, because that's the one I like the most. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one for me. Just regular old Batman. Looking pretty sweet. Alright, now here we have him holding on to one of the cooler accessories that he comes with. He does hold on to it very well. You probably wouldn't want to leave the arm bent like that for any long period of time. Certainly not for longer than maybe a day or two. I wouldn't leave it that long myself. Just, you know, it is a nice tough rubber suit. It's not really thick. It's not as thick as the 89 rubber. It's almost as thick. This one seems a little bit thinner, but still just as durable, I'd say. Very well done for 1/6 scale. It's just the nature of these things, folks. It's probably not a good idea to leave his, you know, that extreme bend in there. I mean, if it does feel tough, you'd probably be alright. But I love the figure, so I wouldn't want to risk it. But you'd probably be okay, to be honest. It's nice and tough feeling. And that ratchet really is holding the pose. So, he looks great holding on to that. Alright, I was just trying to find the right hand for holding onto his grapple gun here. That seems to be the one. Yep, that seems to be holding onto that very well. But really nice detail on this. Let's just go ahead and put this on the figure now. Alrighty, there he is holding onto the grapple gun, looking sweet. I'm not sure what else to do with it, really. He can't... I mean, he can extend his arm outward a fair bit. Let me see. Let me lift this up here at the shoulder. Difficult to do with one hand. I'm filming with the other. But no, see, I just don't think that's going to look too good. And I know as soon as I unbend this arm, that hand's going to fly off. Probably. Let's see. Oh, might get away with it. Oh, no, there we go. Yeah. So, you'd have to kind of twist this bit, but then the rubber suit is fighting against you when you're trying to turn the arm. See, I wanted to try and get him to hold it right out and then turn the eyes to look this way. I'm sure it's doable, but, you know, I've already reviewed him and I've done pose sessions with him in the past. This is just a little flashback, folks. But, yeah, you've got limitations. Alright, so I've kind of managed to do it. I've got the eyes looking to the side, but really I want the arm to come in a little bit more this way to really line up his eyes with what his hand is doing, but that seems to be about the limit. But he can hold his arm out. It is staying in place, so definitely some improvements over the older 89 Batman version by Hot Toys as far as articulation goes. And it always looks good. No matter what he's doing, he always looks like a fantastic piece. No doubt about it. So can't quite manage to get the exact position I want, but close enough. Do be careful with the fins on the gauntlets here as well. They can sometimes drop off. They are glued on, but you know, Hot Toys and their glue, they don't really use the strongest glue going, so yeah, worst comes to worst, you might have to glue one of those back in place if you're not careful when you're reposing him. Now, we'll just take a look at the boots. There's no articulation really in the ankles, no separation here like they've done on more recent figures. He's very, very stiff in the ankles, but that does help him stand up. And I'd never display this figure with his, you know, his legs kind of spread in a dynamic kind of fighting pose. I just want Batman to stand there with a really good cape, just looking awesome. And that's all you really need Batman to do in most cases. But he's so stiff in the ankles here. It's all just one solid kind of piece of the boot. But that does mean that he will stand up on his own, even without a groin grabber, which I don't really like to use unless I have to, because I don't like seeing those two bits there, especially in photography. I always like to get rid of those. But yeah, because of the lack of articulation, because of the stiffness, he stands up on his own, unaided, just fine. And you can really tell that that used to be a Nike Air Max, maybe, I'm not sure, but you can see where the air bubble would go, and you know, you can see how they converted it, so that carried over from 89. You know, at least his feet were comfortable. You know, not so much with the rest of his body, but he was able to walk around in comfort at least. So yeah, no articulation to speak of whatsoever really in the ankles and the feet, but never bothered me. They look good. They look very good. Alright, so here is the Hot Toys Batman Returns Batman next to the Tweeterhead 1/6 scale Catwoman statue. And that is a fantastic piece. But she does come off the base there. There we go. So yeah, she comes off. And then we can, again, coming back to how great he stands up on his own, you'd have no troubles. No stresses. Just pop him on there. Get yourself a nice background of a skyline or something, and you got yourself one hell of a display piece. And there he is, looking very broody and awesome on top of the base with the cape wrapped around him. So I just went back and double checked my original review of this piece from years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago now. And I gave him a 7 out of 10, and I would still stick with that. I think, you know, potentially it can look incredible the way it does now, but you do have to spend extra money to get yourself a custom cape to get it to look like this. And that issue with the hand constantly falling off, which happened again, I just gave up and just left it over there. That is annoying. But this material here that Jackson XU used, I mean, it's got that leathery kind of look to it, but it's very thin, and it can't be that expensive to get hold of. I don't know why Hot Toys just don't go all the way. Oh, his gauntlet just fell off now as well. Yeah, I don't know why they just won't go the extra mile when it comes to Batman capes. Sometimes they've done it right. Like I said, the armored Batman from BVS has a great cape. But that's one of the only ones really as far as Batman goes. They've done some, like I said, great ones for Superman, some great capes for Thor, and I remember when I saw Vision in person when he came into the figure pit, I was not keen on that cape. But yeah, sometimes they do. Most of the time they don't do such a great job with the capes. But here again is the stock one from Hot Toys. It's got no flow to it. It's not that it's thick and it's not that it's stiff, it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't work right, and it doesn't look natural at all when it's on the figure. So bearing in mind that you got to keep messing around with the hands and the gauntlets because they keep dropping off, and the fact that you really only get a good look out of this figure when you get a custom cape on it, it makes such a huge difference. I'd still just give them a 7 out of 10, but potentially a really incredible looking piece. I mean, the likeness is excellent, and the quality of the sculpt and the paintwork is fantastic. So 7 out of 10 still. And I hope you've enjoyed this little flashback video, folks. If you did, drop a like on it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll be bringing you a cool Hot Toys Iron Man review very soon on the channel here. We got the Mark 50 in at the figure pit, so I took him back, the diecast figure, brought him back here to Night Vision HQ for the full treatment. Should be a fun one, so keep an eye out for that. A little bit of Marvel action coming your way. Take a little break from all the Batman stuff we've been doing lately. But yeah, I hope you've been enjoying it, and I'll see you real soon. Take it easy. Bye bye.